Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced, get happy with Dr. Marissa every Friday, drive time, prime time at 3 p.m. on my syndicated NBC, CNBC News Radio channel KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and on demand everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, Stitcher, and a whole host, Tiki Live, Amazon, iTunes, everywhere, because I'm on a happy 88 mission. 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. It used to be 8 million, but we're almost at 6 million now, so I need to reach. So we just changed it to 88 million. And it's my job to make sure that you drink enough rose-colored Kool-Aid, because I want everybody to be happy 88% of the time. So I have this platform with this show this is my 469th consecutive week on the air, on camera. And it is a show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, no anything. No news that will bring you down. Instead, I want you to claim your birthright of happiness 88% of the time. If you missed any of my past 468 episodes, last week was a really fun show with Eddie Munster, also known as Butch Patrick, and it was a great show. All of my shows are housed in my YouTube channel, so go there and you'll also get red carpet interviews, Halle Berry, John Travolta. So lots of fun stuff in there. There's some great videos with dolphins, which is we're going to talk about in a little bit. But I'm so grateful to all of you, grateful to my crew over at KCAA, and for my supporters everywhere. So thank you for joining. And today, to celebrate Earth Day 2021, which was yesterday, but I like to celebrate things like my birthday for at least a week. So I thought we would do an Earth Day show today. So if you are here, I'm going to rebroadcast. I actually have a message from Ric O'Barry, who is currently in Denmark right now. And he says he's resigned from Earth Island Institute, but not from Dolphin Project. He was featured as one of the experts on Seaspiracy. If you haven't seen that documentary, you really need to see what damage is going on, not by plastic straws, but by fishing that scrapes the bottom of the ocean and completely ruins that habitat there. So watch that, Seaspiracy. But Rick was interviewed on that show for much of his work with stopping the dolphin slaughter in Taiji, Japan. And I thought, you know what? Let's celebrate. He's going back and forth to Bali, but his message is absolutely important and equally important to rebroadcast. So I wanted to be here with you as we watched it. I'm going to show most of it now, and please do comment, say hello in the comment section. I know you're watching, I see the numbers, so just go ahead and chat there so I can say hello, and we'll see what message that Ric O'Barry is bringing all of us when it comes to dolphins and our relationship with dolphins, but I won't give it away. It was a great interview, and not to toot my own horn, but I will. After he finished, he's been on Larry King Live and Oprah and everyone, and he said that our interview was a breath of fresh air. So you get to judge that right now.
Today is a groundbreaking episode, according to Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, when I told him I was having the first radio show for our deaf community. I've always been drawn to the beauty of American Sign Language, and when I saw Sharon communicate with the passion and beauty on the Agape stage, I knew that somehow I had to work with her. So please help me welcome to the studio, Sharon Pierre-Louis. And why bring Sharon to this particular show? Because my guest is one of the most beneficial presences on the planet today. He's been recognized on Larry King Live, by Oprah, the Academy Awards, with a powerful documentary, The Cove, and free dolphins around the world. The irony is, Ric O'Barry started as the original dolphin trainer on the beloved movie Flipper, which was probably the beginning of the world's love affair with dolphins. Now this same trainer has been arrested 70 times for releasing dolphins back into the wild so they won't be trained. I watched the movie a few months ago for the first time with my daughters, and I was so moved I was compelled to get on the phone and invite Ric to the show so that my listeners worldwide could support his work on the planet. So without further ado, please help me give a standing ovation to my guest, Ric O'Barry. And Ric is joining us from Japan, Taiji, Japan. Hello, Ric.
Ohayo gozaimasu.
Oh,
nice. That's how you say good morning in Japan.
Oh, that's wonderful. Say that again.
Ohayo gozaimasu.
Can you translate that, Sharon? Okay.
That means good morning, and so it's about. Let's see, it's a little after 5 o'clock in the morning here.
And thank you for very early, and I so appreciate you. And xie xie actually is Chinese for thank you. So that's
I have a Chinese daughter, 9-year-old daughter from the Pearl River Delta in China.
Wow, we're connected in other ways. That's wonderful.
How old are your daughters? You mentioned, I heard you say your daughters watch The Cove.
Yeah, my daughters are 16, Chloe May. May is Chinese for beautiful. And my 14-year-old is Sarah Wei, and Wei is Chinese. My father named their middle names, and it's Chinese for serenity. So they
are they Chinese?
They are Chinese. I am full. Well, actually, that's not true. I am Chinese with a dash of Mongolian. So don't tick me off, or I'll come at you with my horse.
My daughter is a May also. Her name is Mei Li.
Oh, that means beautiful, but you know that.
I do, yeah.
Mei Li. Beautiful. I am so grateful that you're on this show for many, many different reasons. One, because I collect people that do beneficial things on the planet. You certainly qualify for that. And you're involved with one of my favorite living things on the earth, which are dolphins. So I'm going to try to take all of my listeners back to the beginning, because I was kind of surprised when I started celebrating the fact that you were coming on my show. I had many people who did not know the story. So if you wouldn't mind and indulge me and start at the beginning with the movie Flipper, which everybody loved, and tell me how you got into the place that you got to.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Actually, I've written 4 books, but the first book is about that. It's called Behind the Dolphin Smile, and in 1955, on Christmas Day, I went with my family to the Miami Seaquarium. It was opening day. It was the very first day, and at that point, it was only the third place in the world that had dolphins in captivity on display. It wasn't the multi-billion-dollar industry it is today. And so there we were. It was Christmas Day. I was on a 14-day leave from the Navy, and there we were standing along the what we call the main tank, 500,000 gallon tank of water with windows, and I'm got my nose pressed up to the glass, and I'm looking at this scene in front of me of giant sea turtles and 14-foot sawfish and a giant grouper, and of course there were dolphins flying through the scene, and there was a guy walking around on the bottom of the tank in a canvas suit with a Miller Dunn helmet, spun copper helmet, with bubbles streaking to the surface, and he's like in slow motion going through the water and reaching into a wire basket and pulling out handfuls of fish and feeding all of these creatures.
Mm.
And the music was playing, and it looked like he was dancing because he was in slow motion, of course, when you're walking horizontal underwater. And I was fascinated by that. And I said, you know, when I get out of the Navy, mind you, I just joined the Navy. When I get out of the Navy, I'm going to come back here and get that guy's job. That's what I want to do.
That's wild. That's a great.
And 5 years later, that's exactly what I did. Except my job on the very first day at the Miami Seaquarium, I was hired as a diver. My very first day was on the capture boat. And we went out in Biscayne Bay that morning. Biscayne Bay is in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And we were capturing dolphins. That's the first time I actually got that close to them.
Right.
I actually put my hand on a dolphin.
Mm.
We were capturing them for new places that were just opening. We were capturing them for the U.S. Navy. Actually, it was the CIA at that point.
Hmm.
They had a Dolphins of War program, and we were shipping dolphins to Vietnam.
I love getting the backstory on this. Isn't this great? This is more than Larry King Live got. Sorry, keep going.
So there we were, capturing dolphins for the CIA and for the Oktoberfest in Munich, Germany, and different places. And the whole thing was pretty surreal. And we captured over 100 dolphins in that year I was on the capture boat, including 5 of them, which became collectively Flipper for the television series.
Mm-hmm.
Ivan Tors, who was a very successful producer, had a hit series called Sea Hunt with Lloyd Bridges. It was it was the first underwater television series.
That. Mm-hmm.
And it had a great influence on me. That's why I became a diver. And so Ivan, when Sea Hunt ended, he was looking for something else to do, and Rico Browning, who was a Florida native and one of the directors of he was the director of all the underwater operations for Ivan and Sea Hunt and Malibu Run and the Aquanauts and all of these underwater shows that they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
He and his brother-in-law wrote a script called Flipper about a dolphin and a boy, and I remember Rico telling me it sat on his refrigerator for like 7 years. Finally, Ivan bought it and made the first Flipper feature film with Chuck Connors and Luke Halpin in the Florida Keys at a place then known as, it was called Santini's. Today it's known as the Dolphin Research Center.
Okay.
And so that was a huge success, and they made a sequel called Flipper's New Adventure at the Miami Seaquarium, and that's when I got involved. I was chosen to help Rico because this was the first time historically dolphins were going to be trained underwater. Historically, dolphins always performed on the surface of the water. People came in, they sat in the bleachers.
Right.
And
what we're familiar with.
Did tricks on the surface of the water. So now we're filming underwater. And since I had a background as a diver and had been diving all over the Mediterranean and the Navy, the Caribbean, so I got the job. It was like a dream job. I was 21 years old, and 5 of the dolphins, as I say, became part of this new Flipper's New Adventure, and then which was the pilot for a TV series. And I had that job for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Although there were 4 years of broadcasting, I was on the payroll a couple of years before it ran, and then a couple of years afterwards. So that was my experience. I used to capture dolphins and train them. And since 1970, uh, actually Earth Day, the first Earth Day, April 22nd, 1970, I've been doing the exact opposite,
Right.
which is untraining them and
Right.
putting them back where they
Right.
belong.
Tell me about Kathy, because that you made me cry this morning when I saw you tell that on a clip. But I think it's, just for you as a person, we know you as an activist, but just the tremendous, what that was that made you do the exact opposite.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about. I must say
Yeah.
it's really hard, especially when you first wake up in the morning. But I can tell you that I lived with those dolphins 24 hours a day for 7 years, and you become very attached to them, and I never really anticipated that it was going to end. I should have known this is going to end, and we would all be separated. And we were. Finally, the show ended, and like most movie productions, all of the props go back into the prop locker, and all of the costumes go back into wardrobe, and all of the things go back where the original came from. And that's what happened with Flipper. Flipper went back to uh, the normal day job at the Miami Seaquarium for a little while, and then the Seaquarium started selling off these 5 dolphins because they were quite valuable. Flipper, but Kathy, the one that I really bonded with the most, and that's because we used Kathy 90% of the time in the Flipper TV series, so she's the one I thought of as Flipper.
Right.
Three of them we never used at all. We didn't really need them, but we didn't know we needed them when we first started because nobody had ever done this before. So we were guessing.
Right.
So there was Susie and Kathy, 2 of them that played Flipper. Susie was sold off to a traveling dolphin show in Germany and performed as Flipper in the Oktoberfest back in whenever it was. Kathy committed suicide. I know that's a very strong word and impossible to prove, but I have no interest in proving it. I'm just telling you what I experienced.
I know.
And so,
it did.
Your listeners need to know that dolphins are not automatic air breathers like we are. Every breath that they take, dolphins and other whales, every breath they take is a conscious effort. So if you think about that for a moment, that translates into, well, if life becomes too unbearable, they just don't take the next breath. And so that is indeed self-induced asphyxiation in human terms.
Right.
And
we can't do that. We will take a breath. We cannot hold our breath that long that we will do that. But dolphins can do that.
Oh, yeah, they do. And I have seen them commit suicide right here at this cove where I'm standing this morning in Taiji, Japan, over and over again, many times. I just saw it 2 days ago. They're driving dolphins in almost every day now. The boats will be going out, 12 boats, in about 45 minutes. As soon as the light starts coming up in the east, and we'll be there, and the dolphins are offshore many miles, and so the boats find them and they drive them into the cove, and what happens there is so unbelievable. The movie The Cove didn't really, well, they captured that on film, but you can't show it to the public. It's too what you're seeing in the movie, well, what you see in the movie, as brutal as that is, you're looking at the Disney version of what happens.
I can't even imagine. I couldn't even, I had to look away. I was heartbroken when I saw it. I'm heartbroken now thinking about it. I'm heartbroken thinking about Kathy. And I just want to take a breath right now and just recognize that moment for you. And thanks for sharing that story, because that had not easy. And I appreciate that you did it anyways for us. But in that moment that Kathy said, I'm done, or I can't take this anymore, that was the moment that you switched. Yes, I'm guessing that was the moment where the light went on, and you were honest actually in one of the stories or one of the clips that you kind of knew that what was going on wasn't great, but you were purposefully sort of didn't want to recognize it. But when that happened with Kathy dying in your arms and sinking down, that was the moment where you got your wake-up call on your one of your purposes in life. And you are
Exactly.
and I just want one more second. I want to give you like some extreme kudos, and I'm awarding you the Dr. Marissa Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award right now, because for anyone listening who thinks that they cannot make a difference, if one person cannot make a difference, I want you to remember my beautiful guest right now, Ric O'Barry, who single-handedly in his lifetime has completely shifted something that needed to be shifted. And I want to really, really acknowledge and make sure that you are receiving this. I know you get a lot of awards, and I know that you cannot help but go back and think about Kathy, but I know that as horrible as that was, it had a place where you could now remedy something that needed to be remedied on the planet, and I'm so grateful to you for that. So please receive that. Applause actually is not good enough for that, but I'm giving you a Chinese namaste right now. Thank you, Ric.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Yeah, I feel honored.
I hope you feel the love.
I do, yeah.
Good. Because I've had a lot of great people on my show, but I consider this the best show that I have had in 84 shows. So thank you.
Well, that was a long time ago. That was Earth Day, 1970, and it took, when I did this switch, it took about 25 years just to make it an issue. In other words, dolphins in captivity was not an issue like it is today. Today, it's a full-blown issue.
Thank goodness.
The movie, the Blackfish movie.
Right, on CNN.
So there are, and so I'm not alone anymore. I was alone doing this for so many years, but I'm with a great organization now called Earth Island Institute.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a team. It's a team effort. It's not something, I'm not the lone wolf anymore doing this. It's very, very difficult to do this by yourself.
Sure.
And I don't do that by myself anymore. As I say, we have a very good team. We have a lot of volunteers. Mm-hmm. Here in Japan. We have this morning we have two volunteers, Japanese volunteers, who are educating the tourists who come to the cove. Mm-hmm. And are unaware of what is going on here. Even the Japanese people who live near the cove in Taiji don't know about this slaughter still today. Right. They haven't seen the Cove movie, mm-hmm. And pretty much banned and discouraged by the right-wing element who don't want people to see it.
Absolutely. And I have to admit, for myself going through this whole process of awareness, Ben Stiller talked about it on Larry King Live. Oprah's talked about it, where, I love SeaWorld. I used to go to SeaWorld. I used to take my kids because I love dolphins. I live on the ocean. It's an amazing day that, I'm so fortunate I get to see dolphins. I always say to my listeners, I'll put a picture up to my clients too, and I'll say, or my social media network, and say, here's a picture of a dolphin, make a wish. And that's what a dolphin means. So when I used to go to the theme parks, it was because of my love of the mammal, not realizing what it was doing, or this whole industry, what went into this industry to bring the dolphins to do these tricks or whatever the entertainment, to what that took. And when I realized it, I completely understand what you're trying to do, and I completely understand how we have to use our voice and our actions to shift this barbaric practice. Because what the Cove really, the reason why the Cove happens is to feed our desire to go to watch performing dolphins, right?
Exactly.
I mean, isn't that what the slaughter is the after effect of picking the best and the brightest dolphins to come and entertain us? So if we don't want to be entertained by that, then the supply or the desire is gone, and that's what you're doing, right? I hope I got that interpreted
That
that correctly.
you nailed it.
Okay, good.
Look, it's based on supply and demand, like any other product, like Coca-Cola or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And if you can educate the consumers, they might not buy a ticket. And
Right.
frankly, that's the only hope. The government is not going to fix this problem. Governments protect corporations, not people and other animals.
Right.
And so, if we want to see these captures end, then we have to stop buying tickets for dolphin
Right.
shows. The dolphins are dying to amuse us who buy the ticket.
Right.
That's why it was so important. I flew all the way from the Solomon Islands at great expense to Chicago to do the Oprah show, because her audience is the most, and shows like that are the most important audience. Oprah's millions of fans and listeners are the housewives who plan the summer vacation.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so that's who I'm trying to get to.
Yes.
Because they have the power to stop it.
Yes. And I think I'm grateful that I think as a planet, I'm hoping, my kids and their reaction, and, they knew about it before I did. They knew about the movie. They knew about what was going on before I did, that there's a consciousness, that there is a shift in consciousness now. And I'm banking on that all things that we're doing to harm the planet are going to be things of the past soon. I know personally, I didn't even realize it till this morning. My kids will tell you that I've always said, as soon as they're in college, the first thing that I was going to do, just like you when you were in the Army and you saw the trainer in Florida, I was going to go be at the front of the line to be a dolphin trainer at the Discovery Cove. I took my kids 6-7 years ago, and because of my love of dolphins, and swam with the dolphins, and they told me that people with PhDs could be put right to the front of the line to be dolphin trainers, and I've held that as on my bathtub list as something to do in the next 4 years. And I woke up this morning realizing that I'm not doing that. Because those same dolphins, even though they are not in a tank, they are still in captivity. And how I could not, and I'm not going to beat myself up, but I'm going to express appreciation to you for waking me up. It seems like such a logical thing, but for some reason, for most of us, I don't think there's a disconnect between, we're going to SeaWorld and what we're doing to the dolphins to kill them. To have them suffer in that tank. That other thing that you raised around the dorsal fin that they raised in CNN, the blackfish, as well as what you've been talking about, that's not normal. That is a sign of dolphin suffering or killer whale suffering, because that's not where they're supposed to be. And as I watch the dolphins swim across my cove where I live, and I making wishes on them, how could I even think that that's a good thing for me to sit in an audience and watch them jump up and wow me? So,
well, it's quite natural for you to think it's a good thing, because hundreds of millions of dollars have been spent brainwashing the public into thinking they belong in captivity, and that was done by Anheuser-Busch, the biggest beer company in the world, who owned SeaWorld, and they were the largest advertiser in the world.
right.
When you turn on television, any sporting event, I mean, from the Super Bowl to the World Series to a small soccer game on Miami Beach, you would see that Budweiser flag flying higher than the American flag. And they have people believing that dolphins actually belong in captivity. So when you go to these places, and in my mind's eye, see you going there with your family, you walk into Discovery Cove. By the way, it is a tank. It's a concrete tank, but it's configured in such a way with beautiful palm trees and white sand.
And sand. Yeah.
Put your head underwater and take a look around. That is a concrete box, and it's chlorinated. Well, it's not chlorinated anymore. Now they use ozone, but it's landlocked. It's artificial seawater.
Right.
It's the same water that you get out of your kitchen sink. They add salt and tons of salt, and so it's artificial. And there you are with your family, and the sun is shining, and the blue sky, and the water is that magic turquoise color, and the music is playing, and the dolphin is smiling back at you.
Right.
And so it's hard, unless you're actually hitting the dolphin with a baseball bat, you don't see the abuse.
Right.
You're dealing with an optical illusion.
Right.
And that's why it was so difficult in the early days, working alone on this dolphin captivity issue. When I'm running around telling people there's something wrong here, and everybody thought I was crazy.
Right.
Just take a look. What's wrong with this picture? There's nothing wrong with this. But we're learning now. We know that dolphins are
intelligent.
Well, they're free-ranging, self-aware. Self-aware means they can look in the mirror and they know what they're looking at.
Interesting.
They're sonic creatures. Their primary sense is sonar, is sound. Our primary sense is light. We're visually oriented. So when you capture them and you put them into a place like Discovery Cove or Miami Seaquarium or Marineland or wherever the concrete tank can be or whatever shape you want to make it, what you do to them is deprive them of their primary sense. You take away from them the two most important aspects of their life, the world of sound and their family. They are more family-oriented than we are.
Right.
We get together, especially the orca, the largest of the dolphin. The orca is a true dolphin. It's the largest dolphin. When they get together for life. We get together for birthdays and Hanukkah. They get together for life. You take away from the two most important aspects of their life, and then you have this multi-billion-dollar industry pumping out this propaganda that this is a good thing. And SeaWorld last year made $1.4 billion with a B in profit.
Yes. So the
if they
homework.
really cared about dolphins, they would be right here where I'm standing right now this morning at 5:30 with my two Japanese colleagues trying to stop these the slaughter and these captures for their industry.
Right.
No, SeaWorld is not importing them anymore.
They're not?
But they
okay, so that's a good start.
They did. That's only because of Earth Island Institute.
Which is great. So we continue.
Threatened to file a lawsuit when they tried to import them to Vallejo, California, to Marineland. Earth Island stepped in and threatened to sue the National Marine Fisheries, who have a history of issuing permits to do whatever you want to do with dolphins. So,
well, I'm glad that is a practice that's about to end, and I'm going to take a quick break. I hear the sound of music that's reminding me to thank our sponsor for today. Please don't go anywhere, Rick. If you could, it's just going to take a couple minutes. It's a wonderful company that jumped at the chance to sponsor you today. Seal Beach Physical Therapy is Orange County's premier sports medicine and physical therapy provider, whose mission is to improve your quality of life as it pertains to deficiencies in movement, pain, and function. They exceed the needs and expectations of each and every patient, and I know that is true because they helped me recover from a full hip replacement 1 year ago, and most recently got a torn calf muscle, so they helped me with that so I could go teach in Brazil without wearing an ugly boot. There's a plethora of super nice staff to work with, including Brandon, the owner, Brian, Pila, and Lynn. For information on their programs or to schedule a free sports injury evaluation, please call 562-598-5500 or check out their website at www.sealbeachpt.com. That's www.sealbeachpt.com.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa. Mission to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose to be your personal advocate to live, love, laugh, learn. Her life motto: don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Fay on ubnradio.com.
And welcome back. My name is Dr. Marissa, and you are listening to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. And if you've been watching this beautiful woman over here, it is my special sign language interpreter, my new friend Sharon Pierre-Louis. I met her at Agape. And Sharon, thank you so much for coming in to the studio to provide the first, as I know it, radio that includes our deaf community worldwide. I know that the San Diego deaf community is absolutely tuning in right now, as well as the National GLAD, as well as the Worldwide National Deaf Organization. I am very, very, very grateful that you're tuning in. I actually just spoke with Michelle Polino's guest earlier, Marianne Williamson, who has agreed to come on, and Sharon will bring her to you as well. But right now, my very, very special guest, who's calling in from Taiji, Japan, who is right now continuing his lifelong wonderful quest to help us undo and eliminate this barbaric practice of capturing dolphins for our pleasure at SeaWorld and other marine parks. Please support Ric in his work, and there's many different ways. And Ric, tell us how we can specifically support Earth Island, support you. The homework, absolutely, for every one of my listeners now. We're over 20,000. I want every one of you to make sure you do not go to SeaWorld or any other place that has dolphins in captivity, that has whales in captivity, because, you know, technology is a wonderful thing. We can see dolphins and learn from them, and whales and learn from them in their natural habitat. We are so blessed now with technology and the internet and cameras in the wild. We don't have to be entertained and be educated with captivity. Well, yeah,
Dolphin Project, one word, .org. All of the information's there. If people want to support our work here, it's quite expensive being here in Japan, and it's a project of the Earth Island Institute in Berkeley, California, and so. But one of the most important things is what you just said: is don't buy a ticket. It's based on supply and demand, and that's the only thing that's going to shut it down. Is the people, not buying tickets.
Right. I heard Alec Baldwin is. I know he's verbal about other things, but the positive verbal thing that he's been doing lately is to encourage the Macy Parade to not have the SeaWorld or one of the sea entertainment floats in the parade. So again,
I wondered about that because my son, Lincoln, who my assistant and was on Miami Beach, contacted me yesterday and said he was with Alec Baldwin, and he asked my son for my contact information, so I'll be hearing from him in the next few days. Good.
Yes, you can send them to me for some anger management coaching too, by the way.
Okay, I will. Sure.
That sounds good. I'd love to have a chance at him. He's got a lot of passion, and I'm really glad that he's using that passion for this amazing cause. So we have a little bit more time, and then we're going to have to say goodbye. I'm going to check in with my Sandy on the chat room, and if you have any questions in the chat room, please do give them to Sandy or just write them in now. We might have time for one or two questions, and Sandy will text them to me. But Ric, what? Let's see. What would you want? Okay, what's on your Christmas list? That's one of my favorite songs. What's on your Christmas list?
it my 9-year-old daughter Maylee and my lovely Danish wife are in Denmark now. I would like to be with them, but unfortunately I will be right here at the Cove.
Oh.
So what I wish for, I'm not going to get. I wish I was with them for the holidays.
Okay.
But
well, this is actually going to be a podcast that will live forever, as well as a YouTube. So right now, could you give me, this is my version of Love Songs on the Coast. Could you give me a 2-sentence love gift on the air for your wife and daughter? What do you love about them the most, and what are you most grateful about them? What have they brought to you in your life?
Oh, love. And I can sum that up in one word. Support. Love, support. Yeah. It's very hard for me to explain that because I see maybe the world differently, and it really is all about karma and reincarnation, things we don't have time to go into. But when I first connected up with Mei Lee, she's just 9 months old, but I knew immediately, this is, here we go again. This time we're going to get it right. And so, we're anyhow. I can't even explain it. I can't explain it. I just can't capsulize it.
Okay, let me try something else. What's your favorite memory of Mei Lee?
Favorite memory was when I was there just 3 weeks ago, hugging goodbye. The latest, freshest memory, I suppose.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And
because of the internet, I actually talk to them and see them every day on my iPhone, and it's kind of surreal. It's like I have this iPhone, I have it in my hand right now, talking to you.
Right.
And it's the size of a thin pack of cigarettes or something, and I'm in there intermingling with my daughter and my wife. I can look and see because of Skype. Right. I can see the living room, and I can see her bedroom, and she's telling me what she did at school today. And I'm looking at this iPhone. I'm going, my God, my life has become a science fiction movie. I mean, there they are. I'm talking to them in real time. I can see them, but I'm not there. I'm here at the Cove, and they're in this little village in Denmark.
Yes. So Mei Lee, this is from Dr. Marissa. I don't know if she speaks any Mandarin, but I will say, 你的爸爸爱你多多多。他现在班人在then I lost my vocabulary. I said that your daddy loves you very, very much, and he's doing very important work for us around the world, saving the dolphins. So hopefully she will hear that someday, and I'm sure she knows what you're doing and how much you're helping people and how proud everyone is. I did check in the chat room, and Sandy said just a lot of love and thank yous for Ric's work. So I hope you feel all of that. Please feel free to check in with me anytime if there's anything new that you would like to have us do or remember. But in the meantime, we will completely not be going to places that have dolphins or mammals in captivity. And I just 谢谢你是我的最喜欢的人. You're my favorite person right now.
谢谢，再见。
再见. Thank you, Ric. All right. And we will do a standing ovation now. Thank you.
Wow. It was an amazing interview. That was show number 89. Now we're show number 469, but the message is still the same. I hope that you take his words to heart and understand that, what's struck out for you. Feel free to come in the chat and comment or ask questions, even though I may not know what's on his mind, although I just did connect with him. And he's in Denmark now. He's with his beautiful wife and daughter, Chinese daughter, which is kind of cool. And it's hard with the time difference and going back and forth between Denmark and Bali to do another interview. But his message is still the same. Unfortunately, the dolphins are still getting slaughtered in the cove. If you watch Seaspiracy, which is the latest, really great job that media is bringing our attention to things that, aren't being necessarily reported on. And the thing that struck me in Seaspiracy was, we hear dolphin safe tuna, or we hear farm raised, or, catch release, and all these terms. If you look further and you follow the money, who's paying who off, it's not what it appears to be. So I think as consumers, I think as Earth Day celebrants, if we really want to care about our Earth, if we really want to, it's not, about using plastic straws. It's about really looking at, and my favorite niece will be so happy to hear this. It's really about looking at what we're doing to our planet, even by our choices of food. And so if you haven't watched The Cove, if you haven't watched Blackfish CNN's special, if you haven't watched Seaspiracy, please watch them, educate yourself, see what we're doing to the planet. Obviously, we have a president and an administration now that's taking all of what we've hurt our planet with fossil fuels, and looking at clean energy and looking at climate change, all those things that you can say don't exist, but it's like gravity, it exists. And hashtag justified ignorance is not going to cut it anymore. So I'm obviously getting more vocal, if you've noticed, about the ways in which we make things worse on our planet. And I'm not, what you permit, you promote. So please do watch those. Please do not support and take your family to Marineland or SeaWorld or Marineland, all of those, because I hope what you got from Ric O'Barry's story, heartbreaking story actually, about Kathy from Flipper, who he was training, committing suicide because, when you have dolphins in captivity, all those studies that say, dolphins love to perform, dolphins love to be, challenged and do it. That's like, it's, we're robbing them of the two most important things in their life. One is they are sonar. They are not, they're sensories by sonar. So if you put them in a tank, they can't use that. So you just rob them of that. And then secondly, family, the family unit is the most important thing. So you're robbing them of the two joys of life, and for what? So you can buy an $80 ticket to sit and watch them jump and do flips for you. It's not worth it. I have not gone to any kind of entertainment that way. As you heard in the interview, I honestly thought that when my kids went to college, I was going to take a year off and be a dolphin trainer and a biologist or whatever PhDs were allowed to get to the front of the line to work at Discovery Cove. But Discovery Cove is also dolphins in captivity. Even the dolphins in the wild experiences that I've been in, I don't post those anymore because they were really not dolphins in the wild. They were also dolphins in captivity. So I'm hoping that you are watching this and going to put your actions where your support is. That's what I am hoping. So that was an amazing interview. Once again, Ric O'Barry. If you haven't watched The Cove, please watch that. When he said what we see in The Cove is nothing compared to what really happens in Taiji. You'll see a little clip of what happens in Seaspiracy as well. It's heartbreaking. And dolphins are my favorite thing on the planet, animal-wise. Maybe including people. I love dolphins so much. So please take his words to heart. Do not purchase tickets. If we can get rid of this demand, then the supply will go down. So that's my Earth Day celebration show for, let's see, my 460th consecutive week on the air on camera. I appreciate you coming to watch this with me and to highlight this again. I'm grateful that I continue to be able to splatter more hope and happiness with this show. So let's go to what I want to Asian Oprah giveaway. So if you're still watching right now, then you, the first person that goes to drmarissa.life, gets a choice. You get a choice of the audiobook version of my #1 bestseller, 8 Ways to Happiness, from wherever you are. And the setting sun over here in Long Beach is you can't see, 8 Ways to Happiness here. Forward by my big brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith. The audiobook copy, that's worth $20. So the first person to go to drmarissa.life and put in the pop-up your email address, will get either that, or if you prefer, if you have kids, this is a children's book, Mommy, What Are Feelings? And every feeling has a taste, touch, sight, and sound. And the photos were illustrated by my daughters when they were 5 and 7. So this is worth $25. So if you'd rather get a download that your kids can color on, just let me know that would be what you prefer. And that's the #Asian Oprah giveaway for today's show. If you are interested in anything in being educated around violence, abuse, and trauma, there's a great organization called IVAT, Institute for Violence, Abuse, and Trauma, that holds 2 summits a year. This summit is traditionally held in Hawaii. Unfortunately, thanks to COVID, we are doing it online. But the good news about that is because it's online, anyone can attend. You don't have to worry about the cost of traveling or the cost of hotels in Hawaii. So there's your COVID silver lining, is that you can attend. If you go to ivat.org and register today, I've been honored, again, asked to be the opening speaker for that. Please do, if you shop on Amazon, support my 501c 8 Ways to Happiness, which is helps kids who are temporarily not finding their birthright to happiness. They get a free copy of books and programs, Mommy, What Are Feelings, 8 Ways to Happiness, and other things. So just go to Smile Amazon and put in 8 Ways to Happiness, and that way you will help me out with that. All right, and that's it. Mondays, come to my broadcast, Mind Your Own Business with Dr. Marissa, every Monday at 10 on Facebook and 10:30 on Instagram Live, and you can interact with me there. Have the best week ever. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Dr. Marissa, reporting live from life.
Well, she has been dubbed the Asian Oprah, and she just wants all of us to be happy.
Dr. Marissa, aka the Asian Oprah, says the most important thing you can choose is choosing to be happy.
You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa.
That's the idea for Dr. Marissa Pay's new book called 8 Ways to Be Happy.
Many of us say, I am my own worst critic. Nobody's harder on me than I am. And my response to that is, stop it! Why are you doing that to yourself? You have to be your biggest fan, because if you can't at the end of the day say, I did a good job, who is? We don't have to constantly be angry at the things that are wrong. Why don't we choose to be happy about things that are right? We have the choice. That's our muscle. And life is so amazing if we can see it.